Hey, welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside making an effort to get a little more out of my outdoor experience by spending time in nature, but near water. Yeah. Uh, in the water, in and around aquatic spaces and biomes, things tend to get a little more niche, all right? They tend to get a little more specific. Spending time just over the ridge, up there on some high ground, it's a little more dry, it's a little more specific, and that will have a little less biodiversity. But there's an area, yeah, right in between the high and dry spaces and in the body of water itself, whether that's the lake or the pond or the river, that transition zone, that riparian zone, that's where the greatest amount of biodiversity is. And that's where I'm going to get exposed to, you know, more nature. So I'm going to find a greater diversity of insects and birds and trees and animals that make home in both the water and in the forest, and especially when the forest has been so dry, so warm. Most life in the forest is finding its way to spend the day and the evening near or in the water. So I'm also feeling the difference just in the airflow, all right, with this small lake here behind me. It's got a little more space to pick up some speed and some wind, and making an effort to be downwind, getting that nice breeze on my back. Yeah, there's no movement up in the hardwood stand. So a little more shade down here as well. So instantly a little more relief, instant 5 to 10 degree difference in temperature, making my outdoor experience and making the time I'm going to commit to spending outdoors comfortably. It's going to increase the time, it's going to increase the pleasure, and that stress, not having the stress of the heat, is going to allow me to better focus, be intentional. I have different smells, different sounds, different air moving around me. So my nature connection, my mindfulness is going to be deepened when I'm closer to water. As a certified forest therapy guide, I won't do a walk on a path or in a forest where I won't have access to water. It's personally, it's a choice as a guide, whether it's a solo or a group experience. I need to have access to water because of the what I believe to be the connections and the sensations that come with and around water specifically. All right, there's some learnings to be shared that can only happen around water. All right, the same philosophy goes for me as deep as finding a forest that has coniferous trees. That's where the greatest amount of healing chemically can come from, where we have the greatest access to phytoncides, which are those essential oils, volatile chemicals that are on the wind. I believe just as strongly that there's as much connection to the human spirit, emotion, physically, mentally, emotionally, to water as there is to the life that can be found and shared and experienced and connected with in the forest. So, yep, for me it's a must. I've got to be near the water. Spend my whole life in nature, and a big part of that included making those connections and learning in, on, and around the water. Yeah. So if I want to find wildlife, if I want to find specific forms of trees or mushroom plants that I'm looking for because of their healing benefits, I know I'm going to have more luck in the forest that is near water. And it's just been my experience, and that's not always possible. And yeah, I've got some hardwood stands that are going to have very specific interactions, but at this time of year, that tract of forest tends to be a little more quiet, tends to be a little more warm, a little less active. Okay, so it's a little too specific, so I have to tolerate it as I get from one section of water where I live on the river to another section of biodiversity that is a little different near the lake, near the pond. All right, so Some animals, some trees, some plants prefer moving water, and others prefer life in the open space that is the small lake, even the large lakes. So for me, the greatest immersion takes place where there is the greatest amount of biodiversity. So in my yard, I've got a nice assortment of trees, which brings insects and birds and animals, but I don't have everything. Yeah. So if I want to experience more, I've got to get away from my yard, right, and experience the mixed forest here along beautiful Heart Lake. All right, so it's still there behind me. I'm still feeling that nice breeze on my back, and I know that in about 5 minutes, I'll be back in the stillness and heat of the hardwood maple stand. So going outside is amazing. Finding a forest, even better. But if you have access to forests that are near water, that'll make the difference. All right, so if you want true nature connection, yeah, nature matters. All right, there is more nature in a forest than, let's just say, something a little more specific like a meadow or a tundra or the beach. All right. So finding a forest makes the difference in the healing because of the amount of other living things, and you're going to get the greatest amount of range and diversity when you can get near the water. So yeah, making a nature connection is one aspect of it, but you can always make small adjustments in the type of nature. And so it's been my experience, been my practice, that if you can get outside, awesome, good for you. If you can get outside for 20 minutes 3 times a week, yeah, now you're on the right path. And if you can spend that time where life is green all year round, talking about our coniferous trees, and you can find more of those with wet feet, have access to water, even better. Enjoy the sounds and the smells and the feeling of air moving around you. Be mindful, be intentional. But most importantly, you're outside. That's a great start. All right, so go find a forest, spend some time outside, smell, listen, feel, learn. You'll be happier and healthier for it. Thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.